I've been told producers should never give away free beats. I've been told producers should always give away free beats in exchange for a 50-50 split. I've been told producers should only charge tens of thousands of dollars per beat. And if you listen to the internet, you might believe those things yourself. But in reality, producers are flexible. I mean, if you're making beats for a living, you're a full-time music producer, you know that when someone on the internet says producers should always do this or producers should never do that they probably don't have as much experience in the real world, because we got to be flexible. We have to negotiate. We have to have conversations. We have to make decisions based on the situation. So for example, if I'm working with a big artist and I have a good relationship with them and they're getting a lot of streams, then yeah, maybe a 50-50 project where I'm the primary artist as well as them, and we're, sharing all of the distributor royalties. On the sound recording side, we're sharing obviously the underlying composition. It's a mutually beneficial situation. And so if I said no free beats, I could ruin a potentially good, fruitful relationship that not only I enjoy being a part of, but also that I can benefit from. Now, the problem is a lot of us just don't know how to negotiate. We don't know what to expect. We don't know how to price our beats. We don't know how to negotiate with another person. And so Ryan Schmidt posted a list of not necessarily the standards, but what's typical when it comes to splits. And that's a helpful point of reference. And then Dame asked me as a producer what I tended to do when it comes to splits when I'm selling a beat to artists in different situations. So if you're a producer or an artist, let me know in the comments what a typical price range for you is in these scenarios. Share your wisdom. I'm dropping the link to the new podcast channel below. Appreciate you subscribing to that new channel. And I hope this video helps, especially if you're just starting out as a producer who's selling beats to artists and you want a point of reference so you're not just walking into a negotiation starting from zero.
Obviously, we have these standard splits for things, right? Label, traditional deal, 80%, modern label, 30 to 60%, pub admin, 10 to 15, manager, 15 to 20, business manager, 5%, co-writer, 50-50 on the pub. But these are standard according to how, very particular roles, like in a traditional, music industry. The music industry has evolved, and all of these roles have evolved. So it's good to understand like what a quote unquote standard percentage is, but like what variables move these percentages up or down in different situations. So we talked about the producer artist relationship, right? You, Payne, and you can obviously weigh in. You're a producer, so lots of beats, worked with a lot of artists. So if you create an exclusive beat for an up and coming artist, an independent artist, all you did was, and I don't mean to downplay like all you did, but what you did is you created the beat in your studio and you emailed the beat to an artist.
I just pushed the button.
You emailed it. They finished everything else. They put the vocals on, they're marketing and promoting it. They mixed and mastered it. What does that agreement look like? And you can do a range, because I'm sure, producers change their prices on a lot of things depending on the relationship, the status of the artist, things like that. Yeah. But what's the range of the fee of the producer fee? Let's just talk about the producer fee for an independent artist.
Independent or unsigned?
Unsigned.
Unsigned, I would say, it depends on the person, right? Because sometimes you'll get into a situation where the person will offer something up front and say, I was only expecting to ask for $700 for this exclusive beat. And I'm, a lot of times I'm doing engineering because I'm engineering the beat, if not the whole song. And then sequencing it and producing it around their vocals. So I feel like that's reasonable, but what if they're offering $1,000? I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna turn that down, so I'll take it. But I think the fee is one thing,
right? But I just want to start there. I don't want to. Yeah. I'm doing it beat by beat, so we're probably talking at what, like 500 to 1,500, something in that ballpark, right?
And there's flexibility. There's certainly flexibility. If it's someone who's a repeat customer, if it's someone who's a first time customer and I'm trying to turn them into a repeat customer, if it's someone, maybe I love the song because it's already written and I know that it's just going to happen quickly for me because I already have the ideas in my head. I'm not going to really have to sit down and struggle with it, or the instructions are really clear, or there are any number of reasons why I would be flexible on the price. But I think the pricing is one thing. It's just that there's a lot. There are X factors that just throwing a number out there don't take account for.
Right. No, I understand. That's part of this process. Okay. So let's say $500 to $1,500, boom, the producer fee. Now we're looking at the publishing. I'm assuming it's 50-50, right? That's what your assumption is, 50-50 on the publishing?
That's my assumption. But again, there's some flexibility there.
Okay. So let's just say 50-50 on the publishing. And then, what about, on the master side? What royalties, range of royalties are you expecting?
I mean, generally, and no one talks about this because everyone wants to talk about splits, like producers are just shoving their hands deeper into the rapper's pockets. But recoup your money. If you spend $500 on my beat, recoup $1,000 first, and then and then cut me in, like, I don't know, 20. I feel like 20% is reasonable if there's no label involved, because what the label would do is they would take all of it and then give us some kind of percentage of whatever convoluted formula they've created for recoupment and for a royalty rate. But since it's just the two of us working, no label, no third party, 80-20 seems fine because, the artist theoretically invested more. Right.
Okay. So now look at a scenario in which you are it's kind of a kids in the hall situation. We just had 00 on a couple of weeks ago. So you're not only just making the beat and sending it over, but you're in the studio, you're crafting ideas. Maybe you're also engineering the record. You might come up with song titles, you're giving feedback. Then when it comes out, you're helping market, help promote it. How does that change, in your opinion? It's still probably 50-50 on the publishing. I don't even know. Does that change the producer fee? Like, how would you look at that more as a partnership? Do you not take the producer fee and now it's kind of 50-50? Like, how would you look at that type of partnership?
That's a rare situation where I would look at that as a partner, because in order for it to be a partnership, it wouldn't just be a matter of me doing a bunch of work and saying, all right, cool, I'm not asking for a fee, we're just going to split everything. It would be me having a much deeper relationship with the artist. Like Ted Park, for example. We've done everything 50-50 except in the case of collabs, or sometimes we're working with, there was one time we were working with, I won't say his name because maybe he doesn't want this business out there, but a Grammy-winning engineer who wasn't charging us to mix and master our songs, but he wanted some of the, some of the, I guess it was the sound recording percentage. So we would give him that, and then we would each get smaller percentages ourselves. I'll DJ for Ted. I could potentially, with Soul, when we make an album, it's 50-50, but we're hitting the road together. So it's really 50-50 because we're splitting the show fees, which is not something that usually happens with a producer-artist relationship. So for me to feel comfortable in a partnership, it has to really be a partnership, not just because a lot of people will weaponize partnership. I know that's not the strict question to an answer, but
no, but it I think this highlights exactly what I'm trying to convey to people is all these relationships are different. You can start with a standard percentage, but if a person does more than what they do in a standard situation, then it makes sense for percentages to be higher. If for some reason they do less, then it makes sense but you have to understand that standard percentage goes with a standard commitment, right? Because I look at the same thing from a manager perspective. You can't just say, oh, a manager gets 15%. Because to me, especially now with the experience that I have, if I'm helping an artist in their infancy stage, that's not normal. If I'm putting in sweat equity, even with the Hobson situation, I put in money. Now, if a manager puts in money, that definitely changes the dynamic and should change the structure of the economics of your partner.
But you had that in writing, right? With Hobson, when you're putting money in.
Because we started a label together and I was an owner in the label, and then Hobson signed as an artist. To me, that makes a lot of sense. But if you have a manager, especially a capable manager that helps you out significantly in the beginning, is like huddled up with you, like talking through ideas, networking, learning the business, like presenting a lot of opportunities. To me, that's a different situation. It should be more than your standard 15, 20%. Because even if I didn't put in money in the Funk Volume situation, like I was let go from a job where I was already making six figures. I could have went right back and got another job where I was making six figures. Instead, I did part-time work to pay my bills, and then I did work the rest of the time on Funk Volume. So the opportunity cost, it cost me like 60 grand a year to put my attention into Funk Volume for the years we weren't making money. So to me, that's still an investment that should justify equity in the business, even if I didn't put in actual dollars.
See,
right?
And that right there is so important because it's not tangible. And when you start explaining that, it's so abstract to a lot of people who aren't in that situation. You know, let it be a role reversal where, and I've experienced this as a manager, managing an artist or producing for an artist. And I'm like, I could be doing a million other things right now, but I'm investing in this. So the least you could do is honor the percentages and the splits that we have. And then the artist might flip that on me and say, yeah, but I could be doing this right now and that right now. It's like, that's not how it works, because I'm contributing to your product here. You're not contributing to mine. Yeah, but you're a part of it. That's not how it works, man. So those intangibles are what are hard for us to discuss or convey the value of. Because it's not there. Like, well, you didn't get that $60,000, but I could have. No, you couldn't. Well, I could have gotten 60 million. Like, no, you couldn't have. I've actually done it before. Like, if I'm out for 5 hours doing an event, I want to get paid for that event. Oh, why? Why are you like that? Well, because if I'm at home for 5 hours, I could make 2 beats and get paid twice as much or 3 times as much as what I'm asking you for this show. But it's this abstract concept of like money that doesn't exist for them, and just they don't get it, and it's just doesn't help the conversation.
It's weird, man. It's like, you know, a lot of artists will say that they're not at the next level because they don't have a manager. But then when they get the manager, they'll devalue like what that manager brings to the table. So it's like, okay, you need
That's
a manager.
That's a good point.
That you need a manager to get to the next level. But then once you have the manager, oh, this was me. Like, this person just, you know, plugged in a few things here and there. It's like, but I thought you said that that's the missing piece.
And it's not just management. They'll say team. I just need a team. And the team is everybody listed on that thing that Ryan Schmidt posted. And every single, man, can I just interject here with like, let me bring the screen back, because
I just want to look at that first one. After all that, what is really left for the, I mean, it's not percentages on the same thing though. It's not
okay. And that's what I wanted to clarify. But I think this is a very honest knee-jerk reaction from the average artist, because the average artist will look at that and say, okay, if I get a traditional label deal, 80%, my manager takes 15 and my lawyer takes 5, that's 100%. So I'm getting 0 because they're just adding stuff up, or they'll add all this up and be like, well, this ends up being like 300%. So I'm actually going to owe money. That's not how it works. You know, just to be clear, I shouldn't laugh, because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
But like these first two, it's one or the other. So let's say you get a modern label at 60%. That's only 60% of your sound recording copyright royalties. And then pub admin versus co-pub, same thing. So it's one or the other. So if you sign up for a pub admin and your royalty checks are, you know, $1,000 a quarter, you're only giving them $150 on the high end. So it's not that big of a deal. Manager, that could be anything. That could be just for shows. That could be just for opportunities that they got you. That could be for your.
But that's typically 15 to 20% on everything that comes through the door. Like the pub,
It can be.
the cope, but that's typically what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you know,